Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic that's often overlooked in history books, but is absolutely essential to understanding how our ancestors lived. Waste and sanitation. When you picture ancient Rome or Mohenjo-daro, you probably think of grand temples and bustling marketplaces. But what about the less glamorous side of life? Where did all the trash go? How did millions of people live together without being overwhelmed by filth and disease? The answers are surprisingly ingenious and reveal a lot about the priorities and innovations of early civilizations. From the very first cities, humans have been grappling with the challenge of waste. So, let us flush away our modern assumptions and take a look at how the ancient world kept clean. Let's start our journey in the Indus Valley, around 2500 BCE. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were marvels of urban planning. Archaeologists have discovered that nearly every house had its own bathroom and access to a sophisticated, citywide drainage system. These weren't just open ditches, they were covered drains, made of baked bricks, running beneath the main streets. They collected wastewater from homes and channeled it away from the living areas. Many homes even had toilets, which were essentially brick seats with chutes that directed waste into the street drains. This level of planning suggests a strong central authority that understood the importance of hygiene for a dense urban population. It was a system that would be matched in many parts of the world for thousands of years. Moving west to ancient Egypt, life was centered around the Nile River. The annual flooding of the Nile was a blessing, renewing the soil for agriculture, but it also played a key role in waste management. For most Egyptians, the river and nearby canals served as a natural disposal system, carrying away refuse. However, in wealthier homes, we see evidence of more dedicated sanitation. Some nobles had actual bathrooms in their houses, with limestone toilet seats placed over a sand-filled pot. Servants would be responsible for emptying these pots. While not as complex as the Indus Valley system, it shows an awareness of separating waste from living quarters. The hot, arid climate also helped, as it would quickly dry out and break down organic waste, preventing the rapid spread of disease. Now, let's visit the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete, which flourished around 1700 BCE at the Grand Palace of Knossos. Archaeologists uncovered what might be the world's first flush toilet. This system used water from rooftop cisterns to wash waste down terracotta pipes into a sewer system. It was an incredible feat of hydraulic engineering. The Minoans' understanding of water flow allowed them to create not just functional sanitation but also beautiful fountains and complex plumbing for baths. Their sophisticated systems demonstrate that sanitation wasn't just a practical necessity. It was a feature of a comfortable and luxurious lifestyle for the elite, showcasing their advanced knowledge and control over their environment. Of course, no discussion of ancient sanitation is complete without mentioning the Romans. The Roman Empire is legendary for its engineering prowess, and their approach to sanitation was no exception. The famous Roman aqueducts were the heart of the system, bringing millions of gallons of fresh water into cities like Rome every day. This constant supply of water was crucial. It fed the grand public baths, or thermae, which were centers of social life and hygiene. And it continuously flushed the Cloaca Maxima, Rome's greatest sewer. This massive sewer system, parts of which are still in use today, drained waste from public latrines and buildings, carrying it to the Tiber River. Roman public latrines were another key innovation. These were communal facilities, often with dozens of seats arranged in a row over a channel of constantly running water. There was no privacy, and they served as social gathering places where people would chat while taking care of business. While it seems strange to us, it was a practical solution for a densely populated city. For the wealthy, private latrines in their villas would connect to the main sewer lines. The Romans clearly understood the link between flowing water and public health, and their infrastructure was built to support a massive urban population in a way no civilization had before. It was a system that set the standard for centuries. But what about solid waste? Garbage, broken pottery, and food scraps were a constant problem. In many ancient cities, the most common solution was simply to throw it into the street. Over time, this would cause street levels to rise. Archaeologists can often see this in excavated cities, where layers of accumulated waste raised the ground level by several feet over centuries. Some cities, however, had more organized efforts. In Athens, for example, A law required citizens to dump their waste at least 1 mile outside the city walls. Rome had designated waste pits, or puticuli, outside the city. These were essentially early landfills. They also had a system of contractors who were paid to cart away refuse. While these systems were innovative for their time, they were far from perfect. The dumping of sewage into rivers like the Tiber meant that people living downstream were exposed to contaminated water. This led to frequent outbreaks of waterborne diseases like typhoid and cholera. The stench in many parts of ancient cities would have been overwhelming by modern standards, and access to these sanitation systems was often unequal. The wealthy enjoyed private, clean facilities, while the poor often lived in squalid conditions, relying on public latrines or simply using alleyways and streets, contributing to the spread of disease among the most vulnerable populations. Despite these shortcomings, the importance of these early sanitation systems cannot be overstated. They were a crucial factor in allowing cities to grow. Without methods to manage human waste and provide clean water, large urban centers would have been impossible to sustain. They would have quickly become death traps, ravaged by epidemics. The engineering behind these systems, the drains, the aqueducts, the sewers represents some of the most important technological advancements of the ancient world. They are a testament to our ancestors' problem-solving skills and their understanding that public health is the foundation of a thriving society. When the Roman Empire fell, much of its knowledge of hydraulic engineering and public sanitation was lost in Western Europe for nearly 1,000 years. Cities became dirtier, and plagues became more common during the Middle Ages. It wasn't until the 19th century, with the Great Stink in London and the work of pioneers like John Snow, that cities began to reinvest in the kind of large-scale sanitation infrastructure the Romans had mastered. It serves as a powerful reminder that progress isn't always a straight line. The history of sanitation is a story of innovation, loss, and rediscovery, showing us how a seemingly mundane aspect of life is, in fact, central to civilization itself. So the next time you turn on a tap or flush a toilet, take a moment to appreciate the thousands of years of history and innovation behind it. From the brick drains of Mohenjo-daro to the mighty sewers of Rome, our ancestors laid the groundwork for the clean, healthy cities we live in today. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, please like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the fascinating details of our past. See you next time.